It is week 21, so how did I do with my 5 milligram injection of Zepbound? It's week 21, so how did I do with Zepbound 5 milligrams? And did I have any side effects or did I notice any difference? One thing I have noticed is that I kind of feel bloated. And so, not sure what that's about. I don't know if anyone else has had that side effect of just feeling bloated. As a matter of fact, I thought maybe I had gained weight because I just felt so bloated. So I did get on the scale this week and I weighed 256 pounds. So I've lost 2 pounds since last week on the 5 milligrams. So that's great. I also have a very big non-scale victory, is that I was able to wear a pair of jeans in my closet that is a size 14. And what I should say is I can put them on. And I did walk around the house in them, but you can tell that, you know, they're snug. And here's a picture of me in them. Probably want to say another 10 pounds, those jeans will look perfect on me. And I've had those jeans since my keto days, and that was back in 2017, and that was my first pair of 14 jeans that I was able to get into in years, well, decades. And so I kept those jeans as a marker for me that if I was losing weight and I got back in those jeans, I knew I had reached my goal. But I'm not gonna say I reached my goal, because yes, I can put them on, zip them up, I can sit down in them. I think I wanna go a little bit further. I'm gonna move the goal post a little further. So even though I weigh 256 pounds, I stand 5'9". So I'm a little tall, so I carry my weight differently. It's distributed a little differently. So don't be discouraged by, because I am 256 pounds, you should be able to wear size 14 or whatever. Your body type is your body type, and you can't compare your weight loss journey with anyone else's. And then the fact that I've lost over 50 pounds in 22 weeks, that is not going to be everyone's journey. Some people won't lose that much weight. Some people will lose more weight. So don't get discouraged on your weight loss journey, and by all means, don't compare your weight loss to anyone else's. In addition to that, if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Pure Epiphany 69, and I want to say welcome to my new subscribers. I'm so excited. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for watching. And I want to just say that, this journey since I started on January 23rd, 2026, my starting weight was 309 pounds. So I had a lot going on. I was addicted to sugar. And my sugar that I intake was from alcohol and sweets. And now that that's been eliminated from my diet, well, I'll say it's eliminated now, but with Zepbound, it's literally taking the taste out of my mouth. Even yesterday, my son wanted some McDonald's, and I had got him some fries, and I reached in the bag, grabbed the fries. The fries were terrible. The McDonald's fries tasted awful. I spit it out. That's kind of like one of the things that Zepbound will do for you, is it'll take the taste of certain foods out of your mouth, or it'll make certain foods taste really strange. So that's one of the things about Zepbound that I really like in terms of a good side effect. Now, one of the things I did struggle with this week, and I won't say this week, this has kind of like been just a normal thing, and I don't know if anyone else suffers from this, but I realized I have body dysmorphia. And even though I can get into and zip up a size 14, I still feel like this girl right here. I still see this girl, this lady right here. And, and that's something that I need to work on, because I'm trying to figure out why, I've lost a significant amount of weight in a short amount of time. And I don't think my brain has caught up with the fact that, yeah, you were a size 24 in January, and now it's June, and you can wear size 16s and some size 14s. And so some of the things that I decided to do to help me to get my brain, to rewire my brain, to see that I am this size, that I'm not 309 pounds, is I'm taking a lot of pictures of me in clothes where I look thin, and I'm taking video and I'm watching them, and I'm saying to myself, that is you now. That's how you look. You don't look like this anymore. You're this way. And so I'm trying to get my brain to lean over to this side and stop staying over here thinking I'm an observer and looking at this over here saying that that's not real, and trying to justify why I can wear these clothes versus not being able to. So that's one thing that I have to work on. And I did some soul searching about what it is, what does it do for you to have body dysmorphia? Like, what causes it? And I had to go back, way back to like when I was younger, when I was in junior high school, and I was new to the school. We had just moved to the state because my dad was in the military, and we had just came from overseas. And so I was new to the school. I dressed different because, when you're overseas, you have a lot of the clothes that are made for you and everything. And then they didn't have all of the department stores and malls in Italy, because that's where we came from. And then I had an accent because I did speak some Italian and English, so I didn't have an accent. And so I kind of stood out. And then, not to mention the fact that I was going through puberty and I developed a lot sooner. So when we came from Italy and I came to junior high school, I was in the 8th grade. And so this was my first time being around a school that just wasn't for kids who were in the military. They were kids who were non-military. And those kids were cruel. And so they started giving me nicknames for me. And one of the nicknames is because I had big chest. My breasts had literally grown, they were huge. And none of the girls in the school had breasts like I did. And so they nicknamed me Mount St. Helens because of my breasts. So I kind of internalized that for a long time. And I was really subconscious of, my breasts. I would wear like double bras sometimes. I would wear big shirts so that, you couldn't see them and whatnot. And I kind of grew out of that as I got older, and then I went into high school and started to see that there were other girls who were, if not the same, bigger breasts than me. And not to mention, I was always tall. I was a tall girl, always the tall girl in class. I was the middle pitcher in the elementary school pictures. I was always in the center. And then I started gaining weight because, I was transitioning. I had to acclimate, and I went through a culture shock from being overseas most of my life to being in America. And so I went through a culture shock. So a lot of that, I think, is tied into why I had struggled with weight. And then I got to a point where if everyone just sees me as this big person all the time, any new insults would not, affect me. They couldn't call me anything else other than what I've heard. I ended up changing schools because we moved to a different school district. And so I had to get adjusted to a new school and new people when I got to high school. And so that school was a little different, whereas they didn't have the diversity like they did when I was in junior high school. So there were like maybe a handful of minorities there, and they were already, they knew each other from elementary and junior high school, and here I come, not knowing anybody. And so now I'm trying to fit in where I can, and was just having a hard time just trying to adjust with life of being in high school and being the new girl, and standing out, because again, I still kind of had my accent. I still looked at things differently and dressed differently, and everyone was wearing clothes that I couldn't fit into. You know, at that time, and I'm giving my age away, people were like wearing Guess jeans. They didn't make Guess jeans for girls my size. And that's when I discovered that even though I was wearing a size 14, I was a 14 women's, not a 14 junior. And that distinction right there, now that has something that has stayed with me even to this time. Because even when I put on those pants that those pants that are size 14, those are a women's size 14, not a junior size 14. And so my mind needs to kind of rewire itself that, you know, junior size 14 does not mean take away from the women's size 14. So those are just some things that I've had to work on. I'm going to work on, and I have to deal with, so that, you know, I see myself the way this picture is and not this picture, because that's not me. That's not who I am. This is who I am now. So I said all that to say that, you know, with Zepbound, it's not just enough that, you know, those of us who are on it, most of us have struggled with weight most of our lives, or we gained weight after we had a pregnancy, or some of us who were post-menopause and gained a lot of weight, whatever your reason may be. So everyone's journey is different. My journey is different from yours. I take inspiration from everyone that I watch, and I take their tips, and then I try to apply what I know works for me. And again, in this entire journey, I have not been following any meal plan. I eat what I want, but I do everything on portion control, because my appetite is severely suppressed, significantly suppressed, being on Zepbound. So I eat portion control. I pretty much eat 1, maybe 2 meals a day. I try to drink as much water as I can and try to get in enough protein and fiber in my diet. And if I don't get enough fiber, I'll take like some, it's called Mago 7, and that works wonders. I mean, that will flush you out within 24 hours. And so that's my particular journey on what works for me. And so if you're here looking for research or, you know, tips and everything, just like I said, everyone's journey is different. You've got to find what works for you and what makes you successful. And what I'm doing is what's successful for me. So that's all that I have for my week 21. And I will see you guys when I see you in week 22.